All right, thanks for staying with us now. According to an article on Ashiana, emotional health refers to a person's ability to cope with day-to-day life. It includes the way they feel about themselves and how they respond to whatever happens around them. Among the other decisions of wellness, emotional wellness is not only the hardest to quantify, but it is also the most important. An emotionally balanced person is one who has an awareness of his feelings or her feelings and is able to process them in a healthy manner. So how do you think, right, we can begin to raise a lot more emotionally balanced children, because we need it in this world today, you know, for some level of stability and, you know, to curb a lot of vices that we hear that is happening in the society today, right? So please, let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-4663. You can also tweet at us at PlusTvAfrica1 with the hashtag WaysShow. And so, Manny, before Uti comes, I just wanted us to banter on this conversation because, again, when you go on social media, it's so interesting that you open blogs and you hear, oh, this boy killed his girlfriend because she broke off a 10-year relationship. That's the one that I saw of recent, I think yesterday. She broke off a relationship of 10 years. The guy kills his girlfriend, or this girl stabs her man to death because she found him cheating. This one did this one. There's so many things going on. And I just keep wondering that, okay, who raised these people? Who raised these people? Because, again, what is happening is that we are in a world where it seems like everything is in your face, right? I was telling you that my sister shared a video to our sisters group where a young man in the US, I think he's about 13. I'll find out video. He's about 13. Yeah, he's 13. He went to different stores, Manny, and he wanted to purchase different things. So he had gone to a store where they sold alcohol. The lady at the counter said, how old are you again? He said 13. Oh, I'm sorry, do you have an ID? I can't sell to you. He went to a cigarette store. They bounced him off. He went to a store where they were selling all these magazines that has all this pornographic whatever. They bounced him off. He then walks into a gun store, right? This guy picks up a gun. So imagine that that boy has, you know, some level of emotional baggage. I mean, look at the recent shooting that happened in Texas. I think about 19, you know, as at the last time I counted, 19 children died, two teachers died as well. So there is a lot going on. And guess what? People would vent out how they feel on the next person available. That boy that was, I mean, that took guns to a school to just go and kill people is coming from somewhere. There has to be something deeply seated in the mind of that child that the child just feels like, you know what, I can't handle it anymore. And that, I think, in my own opinion, must have been an outburst of whatever it was he was inside, feeling. Yeah. So not many people have the capacity to be able to get a gun. A lot of people are doing so many things. Some children throw a lot of tantrums. They are so rebellious. They begin to take up drugs. They take up alcohol. They take up all sorts of vices just because they cannot let out whatever it is that they're feeling emotionally. So how do we even start this conversation? You know, because we need that balance. Even if we didn't think we did before, now more than ever before, with the advent of the internet, social media, and so many things that our children are exposed to, that they see, we need to have a balanced human being, right? And we need to start from when they are little. So where do we even start this conversation from?
So for me, I just think that sensitivity and emotional understanding, they are now very key issues for us in raising our children. For example, the guy you just talked about that went into the school and killed everybody, or killed his students and teachers, you know the reason he did what he did. They've investigated the whole thing, and they found out that he's from a poor home, and they had been laughing at him because he wears, you know, very bad looking clothes to school. He smells or whatever, and he had to endure all this throughout his childhood.
The bully.
Yes, he was emotionally bullied. So at the end of the day, he goes to get a gun and he comes to kill so many people. So for me, I don't think the problem is the fact that he was bullied. Bullying is bad and everything, But if we leave it at that, then we're only holding the schools responsible, you know, for what the children go through. The role of the parent also comes to play when we talk about training these children and teaching them about how to deal with their emotions, how to deal with sensitive issues. Before the show started, I was telling you about my son, how I train my children sometimes by just saying no. When you say yes all the time to your children, when they go outside and they hear no, it becomes a big deal, and then they don't know how to deal with it. So for parents who are always saying yes, yes, yes to everything that the children want, they do, yeah, that's a very big problem. Then tomorrow they go outside and their wives say no to them, and you wonder why they beat their wives. You understand? So I think that we should deal with these things at home. The way we grew up in Nigeria, I don't know if that's what's happening right now. You have an issue, your parents beat you, nobody listens to you, nobody thinks you have anything to say. You've done wrong, and that's the end of everything. But if we learn how to engage our children in a way that even when you punish them, you call them back and still try to
tell them the why.
Listen first. So even before telling them why did you do what you did? They explain to you in their own way, in their own words. Then you explain to them what they did wrong, how they should have done it better, and why you had to beat them. So when you have this talk
through that
exactly,
process.
so they understand. They don't think that you're just beating them for nothing. They have emotions. My children quarrel amongst themselves. You come and help them settle their issues by teaching them how to, you know, settle disputes. So something as little as that, settling disputes, can go a very long way, because we see now that people, in not knowing how to handle disputes, they go fighting, they go beating their wives and doing all sorts. So I think it's an important thing that we must do here. We must inculcate that in our training as parents. So
you know, talking about, you know, saying no to children. So for the longest of time, because I have somewhat fairly two different children in terms of their personality type. My oldest is the very emotional one. He reads every, you know, and all of that. The other one, he can be emotional, but he's a lot more playful, so he can easily let go. Yeah. So the older one is probably just like me, that would sit down, introspect, why did this happen and all of that. So because I understood who I was dealing with, you know, it was a unique approach to each of the children. I didn't say a one-size-fits-all. And that's why I tell people, do not have too many children. Because you see the truth, yes. When I see people having 5 children, 6 children, I'm wondering, how do you want to pay attention? Do you know raising one human being?
It is hard enough.
It's a lot of work. Because you see, if we understood the assignment when it came to parenting, or as it relates to parenting, we will not be very trivial about it. Because you have a lot of broken homes, a lot of broken people, a lot of, you know, dysfunctional adults, because there was just too many. So nobody paid attention to the unique need of those people when they were children, right? Yeah. So we are having a lot of dysfunctionality in the society today. People are killing people. Because for the life of me, I've never understood why I am angry with you, and I think the next thing to do is to pick up a knife and go and stab you. I've never fought in my life. Do you understand? I think I want to believe that my parents did a good job. You understand? Because at least even we didn't have so much, but my father could sit down, have conversations with us, you know, and all of that. My mother would shout and do all those things, but she would still come back and say, but you know, I love you now, and all of that. But you see, now that we are a lot more aware, we have to be, why are we not doing, because again, what is even most painful, Manny, is that the age where we're in, technology has made life easy. Our parents did the best they could with what they knew. They had little information. Now, it's a global village. There's a lot you can learn about even the psychology of a human being. So you know how to treat a human being. So why are we getting it's even now that it's even getting a lot more worse. Is it that people are not even concerned about what the future would look like? Because for me, when I sit down and I see the crop of people coming up, I'm wondering, like, God, who are raising these people? You know? You hear so many things about battery, about different things. People are just doing anything that they like, you know. You are wondering, please, who raised these people? So I'm just wondering, how do we start? Because emotional balance is, you know, emotions are not something that are tangible. If I come now and I give you a dirty slap, you can feel the pain, Manny. And it's gone, right? But if I come and I plant a seed of bitterness or something that speaks to your inner person, your inner subconscious,
then it starts
that
to
thing
grow.
can live with you for the rest of your life.
You're right.
So emotional pain has never been and will never be able to, you can never quantify what emotional damage means to any human being. So that's why we must understand that delicate nature of the emotion and find a way to start raising a lot more balanced children.
Yeah, I think parents are also very guilty when we come to this emotional balance by comparing their children and criticizing them too much, criticizing them. So you see, growing up, there's something, I know my mom is watching now, there's something my mom used to say. I had this cousin. My cousin was very intelligent. So my mom would compare me to this cousin. We're in the same age bracket. I think he's older than me with about a year. My mom would call his name and say, he's gifted, he's a smart child, he's very intelligent. You know, I would never look at me at my age. I still remember very clearly. In fact, I can see my mom's face saying it. You know, so we are so guilty of these things. We do this to our children. We compare them to everybody around them. Then they start feeling like they're not good enough. So when you have children who are feeling like, I'm not good enough, I'm never good enough, then then how are they going to deal with all these emotions inside them? Sometimes they become very bitter. And you know, bitterness is like a poison. It goes inside and it poisons them. The guy that killed these children like 3 days ago, it was the bitterness inside of him that came out. It was poison. So we have to be very careful with comparisons and criticism. We have to be very, very careful. They are very dangerous tools in the hands of parents. So that is one way we can start to balance our children's emotions, because guess what? They're children. They don't know what to do with all the hurt. They don't know what to do with all the pain. Then these people grow up and you start telling them, why did you hit the other person? They didn't know what to do with it when they were younger. How are they going to know what to do now that they are older? You know, so everything is still inside them. Abroad, they always go to their therapist. We're Africans, and for the longest of time, we thought we didn't need therapists.
Until recent times. But you know, when you talked about the outlet for children, why it is a lot more dangerous now? You know, we didn't have video games. What is saying? What do you call them? Street Fighter and the ones that they are shooting, Fortune, whatever. You know, because most of the games, go and look at most of the games that the PlayStations are bringing out. A lot of them are violence-based.
Thank you.
They're shooting, you know, and all of that. So even though we had the bitterness, there was nowhere. You just go, you go to the toilet and go and put it out.
Or you go outside and run around neighbors.
Yes, and it will go, right? So now, they are there, and the child is looking,
growing every
and
day.
the child is playing this video game, and he's seeing how he's shooting all the people that are like supposed threats,
enemies
to him. You understand? And he goes, okay, I think I can do this thing in reality.
Yeah. And then he goes to the store
and gets a gun. You know, so I am just thinking that, because you know, there were some things our parents got away with. We do not have that luxury to get away with it. You understand? Everything about parenting must be deliberate. You cannot say with your mouth, go and do this as a parent, and you are not doing it and expect the child to do it. It's impossible. You must lead by example. If you want a child that is disciplined, if you want a child that is, you know, upright, that is straightforward and all of that, you must be that example that the child is seeing. If not, you're just it's just a matter of time. You know, the child will just wait it out until the child has the capacity, you know, to fully express. I'm talking about expression. Remember the Chrisland story, because this thing is broad. You know, it's broad. You know, when that Chrisland story of that girl broke, it just reminded me of a girl, because whilst I was actively involved with NGO work, volunteering, I used to volunteer a lot to different NGOs, you know. So there was a particular NGO I really loved volunteering with, because they go to schools to talk to girls. As we talk to them about sexual abuse, their sexuality. We talk to them, we train them on the power of choice, how to say no, the power of the vision, how to, you know, set goals for yourself and achieve them, personal hygiene, and all the works we teach them. You know, in the course of that encounter, there was a girl that we met. That girl had gotten to that point of emotional instability that all she thought she could use to express how pained she was to just sleep with anything she sees. So she sleeps driver, she's anybody, as long as you are available. And guess how old this girl was? She was only 12 years old. And she was heavily sexually active. So when I saw that video of the Chrisland girl, right, it just brought back memories. So because sometimes you would say, this child is too stubborn, and you are in rebellion. The child is only trying so hard to express an emotion that they cannot put words to, right? So the child now goes back, and the child is thinking, how do I get the attention? Because that girl was only seeking the attention of the parents. They were always busy. Next thing, oh, you need something, they'll give you money, they'll do this. But they were not physically present for her as a child. You know, they were just, she could get anything. She had a driver to herself, she had all the things. But they were not available to her. So that girl, all she could find as a way to express that, you know, that, what's it called, was to just sleep with anything that would just get her mind off of it. And these are the things that you see that eventually evolves into adulthood, where you see the child cannot express. Yeah. You know, so for me, if we're looking at how we can start to strike that balance and raise a lot more emotionally balanced human beings, right? Communication. Yeah. So with my children, even when they are emotional, they are crying, there's tears coming out of the eye, I will wait, let the tears go. I'll say, okay, hey, put words to what you were trying to say. I say that to my children. Because you must learn how to express. Yeah. This is how I feel. This is how it made me feel. Yeah. So even when certain things I do wrong, even as a parent, I say to them, I said, do you know why this happened? I try to explain to them, well, this has happened, and this is why it happened. How does it make you feel? Even my own actions as a parent, right? I try to find out from them, how does it make them feel? So I understand where they are emotionally. I might not be perfect, but you see, raising children is a journey, right? You will keep on fine-tuning and fine-tuning and fine-tuning until you get to that point where, you know, the child...
Everything starts working. Yes. And even if you've made the mistake of, you know, trying to dumb them down by not allowing them express their emotions, you can correct it. Because nowadays we have all this information available to us. You know, there are too many talk shows right now talking about things like this, teaching us how to parent better. So growing up, some of us were beaten, you know. I hear some people say, I don't beat my children nowadays. I don't know about them, but we were beaten. So you now find out that you now have your own children. You make the mistake of trying to beat them as well. But midway, you realize that this is not working because the child gets even tougher. You know, then you just learn the right way. So I think that for people that have missed it somehow, there's still a way that you can get back on track. Yeah, just learn, teach, like you said, teach the children how to communicate. They have to learn how to communicate. And when they're trying to bring it out, don't dumb them down. Let them say it the way they're feeling it.
Absolutely.
You know? Yeah.
Absolutely. You know, this beating that you're talking about, you see, beating had a way of resetting the brains of some of us when we were growing up. So I remember there was a time when my older sister was made to do something that was wrong, and she stole. Let me just put it in plain English. The beating that I saw my mother beat her, it corrected my brain. I didn't wait because the interesting thing was that it was not only her that stole. It was both of us that stole, but she was the scapegoat that my mother used, you know, and my mother gave her the spanking of her life. That after that day, everything just there was auto brain reset. But you see the thing again, like I said, those things could work, you know, because then we didn't have options. Was there television? There was nothing.
I don't think they will work in this time.
You get that kind of this thing. Then you now go on social media, you see a child calling 911 on their parents. You say, okay,
I know my rights.
I know my rights. You know, so you didn't understand. So that's why I really, really feel sad for us as parents in this age of technology. But you see, it can be to your favor, right? It can be to your favor. And because for me, what I do, I look for teachable moments, you know, where I look forward to things happening, then I now capitalize on that, you know, and use it like the quote was talking about. You look for that moment and use it to set something in the mind of that child. But let's take a break. When we come back from the break, we will take your comments, then we'll continue the conversation. Hopefully Uti would have joined us. Stay with us. We'll be right back. All right, thanks for staying with us, sir. If you just tuned in, we're discussing raising emotionally balanced children in today's world, especially because it's Children's Day. So let's find something interesting to discuss around the children. And please, let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-8663. You can also tweet at us at PlusTvAfrica1 with the hashtag WayShow. So, I mean, a few things that I would like to just discuss when we're talking about this thing is the attitude towards failure. Or what defining what failure means. So I remember that, you know, at some point, you know, my son is always like, oh, this high flyer, blah, blah, blah. So at some point in his school, you know, he came second. And so for me, because I was so used to him coming first, I was so grateful to God that he came second. You know why? I watched his demeanor. I studied him, because you know how what you said about always saying yes, 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 and eventually you now say no to the child is going like he doesn't understand. So for me, what I was very grateful for was that when he came that second, the way he took it, and I says, oh, mommy, he was a good sport. And I said, oh, don't worry, next time I'll just come back to where I was before. I just allowed him and all of that, blah, blah, blah. He's my friend, so I'm happy for him. But, you know, he took it in good faith. I was saying, because this is someone that I know that is extremely emotional. He will cry, he will do all of those things. But when that thing happened, so I took that time out to teach him a lot of things. I told him, I said, Alpha, you see how conversations around dropping the ball, you can be a fantastic person. You can be doing good 364 days in the year. And you can decide to say you want to just look away at the 365th day. You do something and it will end you in jail. So for me, every opportunity is an opportunity to just teach. I take those moments and I say, you know what? This. But I'm happy that you're taking it in good faith. So what are you supposed to do after this? Go back, go and look at. So I teach them how to backtrack. Where did I miss it? What was I doing? How did I lose track of what it is, what it was I was doing, and all of those things? Then you now set a goal for yourself, set a clear vision for yourself. Okay, this is my target, this is my goal. How do I get there? Right? So for me, for every opportunity that those things present themselves, I do not miss it as a parent. I would always sit them down and explain. Some things happened, of course, when he became a teenager, you know, this love wanting thing, you're beginning to catch feelings in school and all of that. Some things then happened and, you know, he was faced, I think he faced disciplinary and all of that. I sat him down and I told him, I said, see, in some climes, because he was not upset that, mommy, when, I mean, in our school, if you put your hand over the girl's shoulder, that, you know, they've said all those things should stop, you should not try it again. I said, Alpha, you should be grateful to God that they are telling you now at a young age. I told him, I said, the way the world is going, in some climes, when you do that, it will be considered sexual harassment. So people have gone to jail and they spent years in jail for those acts, because the girl can just accuse you and say you harassed her, and because, do you understand? So you should be grateful to God that these things are happening and you are learning by the process. So imagine if at every point in time you study the emotion of the child, you nip it, you bring, because it is conversations that helps shape the thinking and the minds of the children. Words are very powerful, right? Words are the ones that form emotions. And that's why people would always come out to say, do words of affirmation, always tell yourself, or look in the mirror and say you're beautiful. All those things are speaking to your person, to your emotion, creating a balance for you on the inside, so that when you go out and you probably hear negative words, you know, it is very easy for you to counter them. Right? So when I see those opportunities, I never miss it. You know, because now more than ever before, it is very paramount that, you know, children are raised differently, because these children are exposed to too many things that is too early for their age to be exposed to. You know?
I think in recent time, there's been a drastic rise in cases of anxiety and depression.
Absolutely.
Yes, and this we see from survey that is being caused by, you know, peer pressure. Then we have the social media influence. I want us to quickly look at this social media influence. We're talking about children. What do you think about access to social media? What age do you think is the right age for the children to, you know, to be thrown into this world?
That's a tough question because I really don't understand how. So for me, I think it's two things. So because there's a balance, we must strike a balance. If you have a talented child, a really gifted child. So for instance, maybe the child is musically inclined or maybe drama or dance or something, right? We know that right now the platform to showcase that child would be through social media because it is easy for the child to quickly go viral. Once see all the Archangel, all the comedians, all the young, this Kirikou, how do they pronounce his name? I can't pronounce his name. Kirikou or whatever. Most of these people are all on social media because, and again, they're making a lot of money from the influencer work and promoting and marketing and all that because somebody said, I can see a talent in this and I'm putting them all out. But I would say, right, the child can be on social media and not be on social media. In the sense that, okay, if the child is dancing, talented, you can do the video. Upload it. The child doesn't have to be the one to see the page, how many views, all the comments and all of that. You can actually do that. Because if you feel strong enough that the child is actually gifted, there's no harm in trying to promote that child's gift and talent. Right? Yes. The biggest child of all that was put out there in the world till tomorrow, till he died, he never recovered from that exposure. Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
He never you could now that even brings it home well to understand what emotional instability can do to the life of any. So no matter how old they become, they can be in their 80s, but you just see a 2-year-old in an 80-year-old man's body. Do you understand?
Yeah.
That was what would have happened to someone like a Michael Jackson.
And that's what's happening to many of these children now. You see, what COVID did to us was that everybody had to stay home. We were at home, and the children had to go to school, even when there was this lockdown. So they were introduced to the world of phones,
online, yeah.
gadgets,
yes,
social media, you know. So it now became very tough to take these things, you know, away from them when school resumed physically. So for me, I think it's been a very tough one. Even if I watch my children, I'm a very present parent. That's what I always say. I'm always there. I know everything that is going on. But I think that the social media is too dangerous a place, you know, to leave children who are not properly armed yet to dance in that world or delve into that world. So if you would ask me, I would say a child has to be 16 before they even have phones or what.
No, but if the child is talented, Manny, are you trying to say that you cannot put the child there and you be the handler of that page?
Yes, I think you can do that. There's a time and a place for everything. So the talent, yes, no problem. Promote the talent, but they can spend more time practicing, you understand, instead of trying to showcase too quickly. Remember, when you showcase too quickly, that's when they start having this emotional stability. Let me tell you something. What so many people are suffering right now, so many adults, I'm not talking about children or young adults, I'm talking about full-grown adults like you and I, is this issue of like. How many people liked my page? How many
validation.
Validation. So this is happening within adults or amongst adults. How much more the children? You're talking about having talent and putting it online. The children want to know how many people are also watching them. Mommy, please, can I see how many likes?
How many views?
I think that they're too young to be put, you know, on the front line. They are too young to hold the shield. There's this frontal lobe that they have. In children, it's not fully developed till they're actually 25. Yes, till they're 25. That's why they need their parents. So arming them with social media, I think, is very dangerous, and is one of the problems that they're having right now. It's the most, what would I say, is the cause of this anxiety and depression amongst young children. Because they are looking into other people's houses. They are looking into other people's lives. They see that they are living better than themselves. They are depressed. They are angry. They are jealous. They are envious. So I don't know. I just think that this whole new social media world is one of the
this thing you said, Manny, I'm just looking at it that, so parents that a newborn, you just, as if they come off for belay, don't they do selfie, they post the pictures, you know, do you understand?
Yeah.
So already, yes, you've opened
you've
the
already thrown the child
out there
in the battlefield. I think it's crazy. Some parents
but
are
you see,
crazy
but you see,
as well.
okay, but why are we all seeking validation? Is it not coming from the dysfunctionality that we're talking about?
It is. It's a ripple effect.
Do you understand?
Everything is just where rigmaroling.
But how are we going to solve this problem? Because we need to find solution. Because again, why I'm saying this is that already we have a lot of dysfunctional adults. A lot of us, we are just, you know, time bomb walking. We are already dysfunctional. And there is no way, if you are not emotionally balanced, you'll be able to raise an emotionally balanced child.
Yeah.
So how do we start to find a balance? How do we find a solution to this problem?
I think some things we would have to take back to the basics. Some things, not everything, because even our parents didn't get everything right. So we take some things back to the basics.
Yeah.
Then some things we'll learn with the access to information that we have nowadays. We know what is right, we know what is wrong. We can learn from a lot of all these motivational speakers, conferences, seminars that they have about raising children and good parenting. We learn and then we start to put them to practice. And then we ourselves must be the teachers. You know, so when you wait and think that the teachers in school are supposed to help you raise your child, that's another problem waiting to happen. So you as a parent, you must be present. And in this age where we have a lot of single parents, that's another cause of the problems that we're seeing in our society. Because the father has his role to play, the mother has her role to play. So now you see one parent trying to play both roles. And it can become a problem when things become too much to handle.
No, but Manny, you are touching a soft point there, because now, when you say single parents, I'm wondering if the relationship is not working, right, and there are kids involved, do you then stay in that marriage? I mean, today I heard the most horrific story ever of someone that I held there. Yeah. How, you know, she was going through a lot of battery in her home. You know, I am almost like 100% sure that it is the death of Osinachi that would have probably made her to take the decision of, walking away from that toxic relationship, the toxic marriage, right? These are things that are reality. And this is a dysfunctionality because it has already eaten really deep. So do you then say that, oh, because you want to raise a balanced child, the child will still see it? Because whether you like it or not, we are being programmed. And our programming is not really based on, it is all the happenings around. Everything shapes who we eventually become. Right? So it has to be a very deliberate thing to say, you know what, I have to do better. You know, even as a parent, as a spouse or whatever, I have to do better. My family has to, you know, be liberated from this circle, because it's almost like a circle, right? Yes, once this happened, it will repeat itself. Yeah. And that's why you hear some people say, my father beat my mother, she didn't die, you know, and all of that. Those are the things you hear. Or my mother did this, my father didn't die. You know, those kind of things, these are the things you hear. Yeah. And now it has eaten really deep. So if you don't say single parents, you know, you really can't blame them. Again, some of them have seen that there is no future in this conversation with this man or with this woman. So I'd rather be single and just take care of my children, right? Yeah. So how do we solve the problem?
So see, this is how I see it, Uwa. A couple get to a point where they think that they need to go their separate ways, no problem, for different reasons. But at the end of the day, it still boils down to their behavioral patterns, which also makes them victims of their upbringing. So if you see, we're going around in circles. These different parents, they are lacking something, you understand, that is making them act in a way that would not allow the marriage to continue. So that's why I say right now, we just need to, you know, get inside and train these children very well. If not, what we are seeing right now that looks like an epidemic is going to continue for generations. So we have to just take it right now and nip it in the bud, because it's getting worse. Most of the time, the people, the parents in the marriage are also victims. You understand? So we see them as victims. But what do we do to solve this problem is to start
because even
to
they
train,
can't even give what they don't have.
Start to train the boy child as well as the girl child, not just the girl child. You know, so I think that we have a lot of work to do here with these children. Otherwise, we just keep recycling our problems.
Absolutely. So let's take some comments, Manny. You have some. Good evening, ladies. Thank you, Uwa and Manny. I have learned so much from the show. One thing that I must start doing now is looking for teachable moments. Oh, nice. Yuri from Gombe. Thank you so much, Yuri.
I don't think I have internet to access mine. Can I read
Oh, really? Okay, so let me read yours. Hi, guys. Two-way communication will really be helpful in living this life, whether in childhood or adulthood. That's from Chisom. Then, good evening, my dear but beautiful sisters of What Are You Saying? Ways, as Daniel Ilo, you already know. Raising emotionally balanced children in today's world is very important and should not be taken for granted. Parenting is also vital in raising emotionally balanced children. What children do at a tender age will shock you and you will marvel. Now, the earlier our children are brought up well, the better for us and the society. Secondly, the teacher that flogged the child for not doing the homework, which led to the child vomiting and eventually death, for crying out loud, who does that? My own take and verdict is that the teacher should have a taste of his own medicine or dealt with squarely. The teacher must not go scot-free. For God's sake, this is highly unacceptable. My dear beautiful sister Manny Money, nice to have you back. Still looking beautiful. My name is Daniel Ilo. Thank you so much, Daniel Ilo.
Thank you, Daniel.
Oh, wow. You know, these kind of conversations are very sober, but it's something that you must pay attention to. I've said that I've said it several times that the headache that I do not have today with my children is because of the whatever it is that I instilled while they were young, right? I'm not perfect, you know, their father is not perfect, but we're trying so hard as, you know, a family to make sure that we're able to, the things that they're not able to achieve, we're instilling in them, right? We're putting in the right values. But you see, there's so little that can do. Just imagine, picture for instance, that we all say as adults, can we make some sacrifices, make some compromises, and get to that point where we say, even though I really want to do this thing, but because of the impact it's going to have on the generation that is coming ahead of me,
you hold back.
I would keep it. Do you know how much better the world will be?
Yeah,
just picture that we are able to say, let's set aside all the cravings, all the things that we want to do, we want to go crazy, we want to do mad things and all of that, and we just say, you know what, let's keep it aside. We don't want to, let's take out corruption, let's take out all of these things, right? And let's start to live a life of integrity. Let's show these children a better example for the society and all of that. What do you think would happen in the next 10, 15 years? The kinds of people that we're going to turn out as and have as citizens.
I think it's possible only if you make, you know, a decision, an intentional decision to continue doing this, and also to continue learning new ways to be, you know, like a well-rounded parent. And then to unlearn the things that you have learned, you know, while growing up from our parents who also didn't know everything. You know, we must have that ability to unlearn, relearn, you understand? Then we can give our children the best.
Yeah.
And prepare them for the future, because I don't know how their future will be if things are the way they are right now.
Many years ago, I think in 2017, I did a training on neuro-linguistics programming, or was it 2015, right? You see that word unlearn. That's the biggest thing you can ever do to yourself. You know, sometimes you feel like,
difficult.
Yes, your life is cast in stone. This is what I know. I know it. I know it. But when you begin to unlearn certain habits, you begin to unlearn certain beliefs that you have about people, just unlearn for a minute. Then go and learn, then relearn.
Yeah.
You know, those words are very powerful, because guess what? It gives you room to have an expanded mind beyond your immediate, this is what I know. So when you go into the class, the first thing they will tell you, my coach will tell you, say, anything you think you know, you have an MBA, you have a master's, you have a PhD, he will tell you that cap that you are wearing on your head, can you please remove it and drop it on the ground? He says after the training, if you decide to pick it up and wear it, it's fine. But while you are in class, you have to take off that hat of, I know it all. Do you understand? And guess what? It delivered a lot of people. You know, this one is not church deliverance. A lot of people got delivered from subconscious, what's it called, programs that have been programmed for years. And it did a lot of work, you know, changing and resetting the minds of people.
Or even the Bible says that through knowledge shall the just be delivered. So there you have it.
Absolutely. So let's take some comments on YouTube. It says you are preaching today. Oh, it's serious matter. When you want to see our preaching side, just touch our children. Keep it up. I could hear you all day, Uwa, because you are making so much sense. You have given us hope in today's world. Welcome to the metaverse. I think it is good to train the kids to know how to live without technology so they can have enough sense, right, to see the fake life online. That's true. ASD, I don't know what your real name is on YouTube. And I think we have a final comment. Ladies, remember that the parents of the dead wife is always the loser. Walk away from toxic marriages. And that's true. That's true. That's so true. Because, you know, the person that is dead, you know, it is the parents that would bear the brunt, they will suffer it and all of that. So it's important. But thank you so much, Manny. I think we've had a fantastic conversation. If you had one thing to say to any parent out there, you know, as regards raising an emotionally balanced child, what would you say?
Be present.
That's true.
Be present. Know exactly what they are doing. Don't leave them to, you know, be present. Don't leave them to their teachers. Don't leave them to their nannies. Don't leave them to aunties and uncles. Be there. Yeah.
And that's the truth. Because again, you are in the house with them, but you're not there.
Yeah, so many parents are like that. They are working morning till night every day. Weekends, they are not around.
Even the ones that I'm saying that the ones that are with you in their house.
Are on their phones. They are in other people's houses. Looking into other people's
lives. Or you're on TV and all of that. We just need to find that moment. Because I remember we used to dance together. My papa is a dancer. You see this, my dancing that I have. My dad would dance together. We had fun memories, right? Very interesting. So I think we've had a fantastic conversation. Please, if you do not understand the impact of what an emotionally unbalanced child will become in the future, then it means you do not understand the gravity of what we're dealing with. So please, let's try as much as possible, have everyone around us, you know, start to be conscious about raising children that are balanced emotionally. Thank you so much, Manny.
Thank you.
All right, so before we go, thank you to everyone that sent in their messages and comments. God bless you. Before we go, do ensure you follow us on Instagram at PlusTvAfrica. You can interact with us further, drop a comment, and more importantly, follow all our engagements on social media, like, share, invite your families and friends to watch and follow the conversation. Now, if you missed today's quote, here it is again. If you can control your behavior when everything around you is out of control, you can model for your children a valuable lesson in patience and understanding, and snap an opportunity to shape up character. This is so powerful. We'll see you guys live on Monday at 8 p.m. as we bring another great conversation to your screen. Enjoy.